I'll give a preamble to everything. And generally, the way it is we'll start with 2-minute opening statements. And so, Rhodes, I'm going to start with you, 2-minute opening statement. You give give as much of that as you want or all of it. And then, Jim, we'll go to you and do the same thing. Now, there won't be, we'll just, do that. And then we'll go to the first question. We'll kind of trade off questions, but we'll also stagger things. So since Rose is going to be the first one to start with opening statements, you'll be the first one to answer the first question. And then we'll kind of bounce back and forth like that. And then 1 minute for the answers to the questions. And you'll have time that's right here. And if she holds up the card that says stop or your time's up, you can finish what sentence you're on. Just kind of wrap it up when you see that. And then when the second person finishes their 1 minute answer to the question, then I'll turn back to the person who started and say, do you have a rebuttal? And if not, we'll just move on. We'll move on to the next question and just bounce back and forth like that. We'll go to about 20 or 25 minutes, and then we'll do the 2-minute closing statements for each of you. So thank y'all for doing this. And the only thing she was talking about, y'all, if y'all don't mind, the only thing I always ask the audience is, because it's their time to talk, you're going to hear things that you like, you're going to hear things you don't like. Don't clap, don't boo, don't this, or any of that stuff. Just let them have this time, if you all would, please. And other than that, we'll have fun. Appreciate y'all coming.
Ms. Morrison, can you speak for us if you don't mind anything under the sun?
Okay. Okay.
What did you do this week? This past week?
I did a lot of campaigning this weekend.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, that's a really hard question. So pizza.
Are they going to give you some signal or something? What does?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
They're just getting levels.
Yeah, they're just getting levels.
Also, I really enjoy home-baked goods.
And I also meant to tell y'all that when we're doing the forum, Clay and I will ask a question. You can just talk to us. You don't have to worry about cameras or anybody else. You can just talk to us. It's the easiest way to do it.
All right, stand by. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for our 2025 election forums for candidates running for 2 posts in the city of Newnan in the November 4th general election. This forum is hosted by the Newnan-Coweta Chamber of Commerce in participation with the Newnan Times-Herald and sponsored by AT&T. Our event is being produced here at the Central Educational Center by the video and audio students here in CEC Studios. I'm Dean Jackson, and Clay Neely is right to my left, and we will serve as tonight's moderators. 2 city posts are contested in this year's city elections in Newnan, including the mayor of Newnan and Newnan City Council District 2. The city of Newnan's District 2, which covers the northern portions of the city limits west of Interstate 85, includes 2 city council seats, A and B. Seat B will be taken in January by new council member Scott Berta, who has run unopposed to succeed retiring Councilman Ray Dubose. Candidates for the second post we have with us here tonight, including incumbent Councilman Rhodes Shell and his challenger Jennifer Cheever Morrison. Mr. Shell, Mr. Morrison, thank you so much for coming and being a part of this forum. Our format, just to tell you quickly, is going to be similar to chamber forums that we have held for several years. Each candidate will be allowed 2-minute opening and closing statements. Our candidates will then have up to 1 minute to respond to a series of questions and then a brief opportunity for rebuttal. The Newnan-Coweta Chamber of Commerce and the Times-Herald are nonpartisan and do not endorse candidates for office. Questions have been submitted by chamber members and apply equally to both of our candidates. Our chamber, and many of us here in Newnan and Coweta County, have organized forums like these for candidates in our community for well over 20 years, because we think it's important to give candidates like these a chance to speak for themselves, uninterrupted, to their neighbors as they seek election. And once again, we appreciate our sponsors, we appreciate you coming, and most of all, we appreciate both of you for standing up and seeking this important post. So, with that, we're going to start with our 2-minute opening statements. Each of you should use some portion of your statement to tell us a little bit about yourself personally and professionally, and tell us why you have chosen to seek this office. Mr. Shell, you are going to be our first candidate to start tonight with your opening statement.
Okay. Good evening, friends and neighbors. I'm Road Shell. Maybe you've seen my Shell yard signs. I've been proud to call Newnan my home my entire life, from growing up on Elm Street to raising my family here to serving on the city council for 20 years. This city is part of who I am. It's why I'm standing here before you tonight, because I believe in Newnan's future. I had the honor of serving on the city council since 2006. I had a lot of experience working with city officials prior to that. I was chairman of the Newnan Convention Center Authority. I've been on the one-time Joint City-County Planning Commission, and I'd served on the Board of Education. That experience had a huge impact, and the 20 years experience I've got since matters. In that time, I've seen our city face a lot of growth, which brings both benefits and a lot of challenges. Let me be clear, experience matters. City council is not a place to learn government on the fly. It takes deep knowledge of our community and the ability to think ahead by decades, not just years. Everyone talks about smart, responsible growth, but it all depends on how you define it. For me, it's making sure the development makes sense for all of us in Newnan. It's why I voted both for and against new projects. I pick and choose what I think benefits Newnan. To get a roundabout on Grayson Trail, we needed one more vote on the city council. And I wanted to be able to answer all the questions, to read and study the 70-page document. At the time, I was probably the only roundabout expert in Newnan. I'm really proud of what we did, and now the Georgia Department of Transportation holds that up as a model. Sometimes these take time. It took me 18 years to get the speed limit lowered to 25 miles an hour downtown. I spent time making Newnan safer for our children, pedestrians, and people in the cars and bikes. We need people with experience because experience matters.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Morrison.
Good evening, and thank you for being here, and thank you to the CEC for hosting us and the Chamber for putting this on. I do appreciate it. My name is Jen Cheever Morrison, and I was born and raised in Newnan. I went to Elm Street Elementary, I went to Evans Middle School, and I graduated from Newnan High School. I went to Virginia for college, and I majored in French and art history, so I have no idea why I'm standing at this podium right now in front of you. But my husband is from Newnan and graduated from East Coweta. We decided when we were ready to start a family and, get married and start a family, it doesn't matter what order that came in, that we were going to relocate back to Newnan because this is where we're both from and this is where we have roots and this is where we wanted to be. Newnan has always been a very special place for me. And my husband, he owns a company here. He has a janitorial service company that serves Newnan and the entire state of Georgia. I serve as the CFO for a small construction company here in Newnan. I'm on many boards in Newnan. I'm on the Nixon Center board. I'm on the Newnan Carnegie Library Foundation board, just to name a few. I have been appointed to the Bicentennial Commission here in Newnan and the Convention Center Authority. I'm a faithful member of Central Baptist Church where I sing in the chancel choir. Not sure how I got that either. Personnel committee, and I'm on the missions committee. I'm running for city council because when I had children, I got involved in their schools heavily. I got involved in my community, and I have decided that it's time for someone of my generation to step up and serve in a city capacity, and Newnan City Council fits that bill.
Thank you. Our first question tonight is a follow-up question to your opening statements. You've referenced your work and life experiences, but can you take a minute to expand on that, if you will? What professional, personal, or civic experiences will most affect your decision-making member as a member of the City Council? Mr. Shell?
I thought She said she went
actually-
first.
Let's go to Ms. Morrison.
Okay. With my experience with my community involvement since I've been back in Newnan, I can work cohesively with many people. I serve as the vice president on the Newnan Carnegie Library Foundation, so I am in the habit of organizing and working together to find solutions for problems that we encounter. For that.
Mr. Shell.
Okay. I'm from Newnan, as I mentioned earlier, but when I was in the Army, I moved back to Newnan. I moved to an apartment on Spring Street, across the hallway from Pam and Bobby Lee, Bobby's my friend from ever. Anyway, so I was working for a bank. I went to graduate school at Georgia State. I worked at banks in both different commercial lending, mortgage lending. I worked for C&S, Newnan Federal, wound up at Century South, and always did lending, and then got a securities license and became an investment advisor. I then became a certified financial planner. I worked with, the last company I worked with was Avery and Pope on downtown Newnan. And then I was, as I mentioned earlier, the other jobs that I had with the city. But I've been on the city council. I've been a deacon in my church. I've done various things in the community like that, Rotary, been president, things like that. So I've been involved in the community in numerous ways.
Rebuttal, Ms. Morrison?
No. We'll go to our next question. We'll start with Mr. Shell on this one. Going to ask you, we're going to have several questions about just development and some of the big issues in Newnan. But let me ask you what's most important to you, in a sense, as you look for a four-year term on the Newnan City Council. Talk about yourself running as a candidate for office today. What's your vision for the city of Newnan? And specifically thinking about that 4 years, what would you like to see happen? What would you champion most in the next 4 years to encourage that vision?
Well, the reason after serving 20 years, I decided to run 4 more years. We're very close to getting a contract signed on the old brown steel RD code 57 East Broad. And I keep saying at one time we had 7 city people voting on the city council, and we had 8 different opinions on what we do. Well, all of a sudden now we have a development group that's going to do a project that we think we're going to be proud of. So I think it's important to get that contract signed, but it's also doing the follow-up, because a lot of questions will come up. That's going to just change the whole downtown as far as expanding it, making it better. And that was one reason that I ran, along with the Centennial Park and the Centennial cleanup. I thought that was very important that we get those things right.
All right. Same question to you, Ms. Morrison. What's the most important thing to you, and what would you do to pursue that vision over the next 4 years?
Well, my vision for Newnan is very simple. I want a community that grows smarter and not just bigger. I want a city that supports families and empowers small businesses and invests in opportunities that strengthen every part of our community. We need city decisions that reflect the needs of the next generation, not just the past generation.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Rebuttal, Mr. Shell?
All right. Our next question is about residential development. When it comes to development, it's often said if you're not growing or moving forward, you're moving backward. So in your estimation, what challenges do you see in the city's residential development for affordability of housing for young families, or the concerns about multifamily housing, density concerns, or anything else?
I do think that we have an affordability problem. Currently in Newnan, we don't have enough affordability. We have quite a few opportunities to rent, not very many opportunities to own. I would like to see some developments that encourage and make attainable housing an option for the people who are moving to Newnan.
Mr. Shell?
Okay, do you talk about development?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's a challenge. I was in the mortgage business, and back then it was conventional loans. Just getting a small down payment was our challenge. And now prices of houses are probably anywhere 5 to 10 times higher, so it's even a bigger challenge. And that's just the regular market. Plus you have the people that can't afford even the down payment or anything like that. So the city's done a lot of different projects, working with the Housing Authority, working with the Habitat for Humanity. And anytime we can get government grants, we will finance things. We've actually built lots, had contained lots and build buildings on them. We sell those to people who lease them where they can kind of count that against their down payment, hoping to get conventional authority. So we've done what we can. It's still a problem. We've worked with Community Foundation on getting some of the homeless people places to go, and anything we can do like that. On the city, we've done that. And so it's always a challenge. It's not Newnan's challenge alone. It's across the country. So any chance we have to find something that will work better, we're going to do that.
Rebuttal, Ms. Morrison?
No.
The next question will start with Mr. Shell. This was referenced earlier. Downtown Newnan is the heart and soul of the city of Newnan. What do you think of the health of downtown Newnan, and what do both of you think of the current development plan proposed for the former Brown Steel Caldwell tank property on Broad Street? Mr. Shell.
Well, I think downtown development, where it is today, is great. It started before I got on the city council when they did streetscape, and people complained about that, and it became the beginning of what's the revitalization of downtown. And slowly but surely, we've added steps that made the city better downtown, from allowing apartments, to allowing a liquor by the drink, to putting the street light, the tree lights up. And we're now at the point with the tree lights, we have the same group that does the Atlanta Botanical Garden, and they do a fantastic job. So the downtown, we think, is very vibrant. The Brown Steel deal is going to be an extension of the downtown. We think it's really going to be something special, and we think it's just going to make everything bigger and better for everybody. And it's going to take a while for all that to get in place, but once it does, you'll have a downtown hotel, very other things that are really going to make the downtown even better.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Morrison.
Our downtown is something that I'm very proud of as a Newnan resident, and hopefully soon as a council member. I am extremely proud of the work that Main Street Newnan does in order to provide consistently entertaining activities downtown and to engage people and draw them to the downtown area. The new development at Caldwell Tanks, I do look forward to having a hotel actually downtown. I hope that it is a nice boutique-end hotel. I do think that might alleviate some of the demand for Airbnbs, which I know is a constant topic with our citizens in downtown Newnan right now. So I do look forward to alleviating some of that. Downtown Newnan is something I'm proud of. I live very close to downtown. I do all of my commerce in downtown, and if, unfortunately, I hate to say it, if I can't do it in downtown Newnan, it's from Amazon.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shell, rebuttal?
No.
All right.
Oh, I do have one thing.
Sure.
It would be nice to bring back the old R.D. Cole whistle downtown sometime when they do that, but I don't know if that'll work or not.
All right. He got a rebuttal. Do you want one?
Yes, I would like to have La Fiesta back.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right, Ms. Morrison. So many residents are citing traffic as obviously a big growing issue. What is your plan to kind of manage and improve traffic in the coming years as we keep growing?
Okay, so anybody who's driven from Thomas Crossroads to Newnan during any peak hours has experienced our Newnan rush hour. The infrastructure is struggling to keep up with our growth right now. We don't want to see major traffic, overcrowded schools, overburdened public services. So I think that development approval needs to come after proper infrastructure in order to keep our quality of life the way that we want it. We can synchronize city and county planning, so we can work with the county together and plan these things out before these developments. We can invest in east-west traffic solutions because most of our roads lead to the same corridors. We can prioritize smart signals, turn lanes, and sidewalk connectivity. Those are low-cost but high-impact traffic solutions. We can continue to pursue state and federal infrastructure grants for road improvements and traffic studies.
Thank you, Mr. Shell.
Well, we're very aware of traffic. I live on Jackson Street, which is Highway 29, and when I was younger, back in growing up, it was even busier at that time than it is now. The interstate took a lot of that traffic. But rush hours, we do have traffic. And so we put in the first roundabout, and we worked real hard to make that a good roundabout, and I think it's really special. We've also implemented more roundabouts. We've got plans for the Jackson-Clark Street intersection, which is a major traffic blocking area, a lot of wrecks there. I've seen 3 myself in the last year. And so working with the DOT is not the easiest thing. They don't let you do exactly what you want. We finally got the speed limit downtown lowered, but I was at the merchants meeting this morning, and that's the first thing they complained about is people speeding through town. So we're trying to get ways to enforce some of that. There's restrictions again by Georgia Department of Transportation. Their goal is to move traffic through town, not worry about pedestrians. But on the outer sides, it's part of the traffic is us. It's also the developments going in the county, and we do what we can to try to make it safer for everyone.
Rebuttal, Ms. Morrison.
Our next question starts with Mr. Shell. The city of Newnan has an awful lot of departments that are important to the life of the city. We'll talk about one in particular, law enforcement, public safety. Those services are extremely important to the city's quality of life, and we know that cities, counties, other governments constantly are trying to recruit each other's police force and fire departments. How would you work to ensure that the city of Newnan retains its best public safety personnel?
Well, that's the most important thing. It's the biggest percentage of our budget. And during COVID, there were challenges coming from other communities who were trying to take our particular personnel, and we quickly implemented raises. We put in bonus situations. We've done everything we can to recruit those, and what we want to do is recruit those that will stay with us once you train them. And that's always a challenge, so we're constantly monitoring salaries. We spend a lot of money on the equipment. We want them to have the best equipment that's available financially and in actual reality. We do anything we can training-wise. We built a new fire training center. We built equipment. We buy new equipment. We keep it constantly updated, and we're always looking at any ways to improve our public safety.
Ms. Morrison, same question to you.
Well, as Newnan grows, obviously, got to grow with it. All of the new subdivisions, shopping centers, and warehouses add more traffic, more calls for service, and more strain on the employees who work in these industries. Our police and firefighters work very hard. We don't want them to be stretched thin, so that would be something that would be at the forefront of my thought process in any development or growth. As the city spreads out, response times can get longer, and that's kind of a scary thing as a person who relies on those in emergency situations. If we expand without proper planning and funding, we are putting both our residents and our first responders at risk. So I think that would be something that I would like to monitor very closely. It's at the forefront of my agenda.
Okay. Mr. Shell, rebuttal? All right.
Looks like it's time for closing comments. So we'd like for you to use this time to kind of summarize your candidacy and address any points that you haven't been able to get in otherwise through us. You have 2 minutes each, and we'll reverse the order in which we started the opening statements. We'll start with you, Ms.
Okay. Newnan is changing, and our leadership needs to change with it. We appreciate and have incredible respect for those who have led before us, but we don't want to limit new ideas, new energy, and the kind of forward-thinking leadership that today's challenges demand. Fresh leadership doesn't mean forgetting where we've been. It just means building on a foundation to guide us to where we're going. Newnan deserves leaders who understand modern growth, modern families, and modern solutions. Growth can mean opportunity, not gridlock. It can mean stronger schools, safer neighborhoods, and smarter infrastructure. It can also mean creating better jobs for our residents. We need to continue to support that so that the character and charm that make Newnan so special will also attract new manufacturing and industry. Our people deserve good jobs with good wages and right here at home. So let's work on housing that's attainable and built with quality and community in mind, not just more rows of overpriced cookie-cutter homes. While I am new to politics, I am absolutely not new to public service. A community that grows, I'm a mom, a wife, and a neighbor, and I care deeply about this community. I can provide a leadership that listens, plans, and leads with both heart and common sense. And together we can keep Newnan growing stronger.
Thank you. Mr. Shell, your closing statement.
I spent a lot of my time learning. I listen to you, I travel, I attend conferences, and I bring home new ideas. When I first proposed the dog park, an idea I've gotten visiting my daughter in Savannah, People laughed, and people wrote in the newspaper and thought it was a silly idea, but look at us now. A dog park, skateboard park, pickleball complex, and the link. Things like that make Newnan a great place for family recreation. Those were ideas years in the making. I was on the city council when I was chairman of the Convention Center Authority. Our goal was to build a conference center in the city of Newnan, but projects like that don't happen overnight. School Superintendent Richard Brooks and I came up with the idea of the way to share some of the cost and share the campus. And years later, when I was on the city council, I was proud to vote, and that's how we got our conference center built. That's what I mean when the city council says it's not about this year or the next 4 years, it's about creating a foundation for decades ahead. Of all the things I've done, I think one of the most important things is when we got the West Georgia branch at the old Newnan Hospital. It took an empty property, turned it into an education and healthcare opportunity for all of us, and the great thing is it's right downtown. We're not stopping there. As I mentioned earlier, the Brown Steel will bring a hotel, food court, office retail, and it's going to be a great expansion of our downtown. It gives us more jobs, more choices, more reasons to enjoy our beautiful downtown. And here's my promise. I'll keep fighting for a safe, vibrant, and welcoming Newnan, a place where families want to live and businesses want to be. I've spent my life here. I know this city. I love this city. With your support, I will use my experience to keep Newnan a thriving experience for the next generation while preserving what makes Newnan special. Thank you, and I'll be asked for your vote.
Thank you, Rhodes Shell. Thank you, Jen Morrison. We appreciate you coming tonight and being a part of our forum. And again, this very important council post, District to Post A, nonpartisan post for the city of Newnan. We really appreciate your attention to all of the issues that you've talked about here tonight. So thank you too for joining us for our forums. We also have mayor's forums as a part of this same November 4th forum. Appreciate our sponsor, AT&T, and appreciate the students and department leaders here at the Central Educational Center for producing this tonight. Thanks, and go out to vote on November 4th.